STIPPLE, System for Tabulating and Indexing People, Their Possessions, Life and Everything, is a unique and most powerful cataloging and research tool for the fine and applied arts and for the humanities. STIPPLE is available as software as a service from the STIPPLE cloud. STIPPLE is an advanced system for cataloging collections of any type of object and archives of any size and for recording history. STIPPLE can combine any number of collections of diverse object types from multiple institutions in one central system, creating integrated catalogues raisonné and union catalogues. Thus, fine and applied art history is combined with economic, social, political, military, family and local history, and with archaeology, geology, etc. in one integrated system, crossing all disciplinary boundaries. STIPPLE can handle enormous volumes of data and images, accessed and updated by large numbers of concurrent users from multiple institutions anywhere in the world, with very rapid response times. STIPPLE was created using EROS, a unique patented application development framework that is based on its connectionist database. That means that no SQL is required for queries. In many museum and cataloging systems, a content management system, CMS, is required to make data in the database available by browsers. CMS packages can have both reliability and performance problems. All EROS applications generate HTML and JavaScript on the fly, so no CMS is required for STIPPLE. Data is entered and retrieved over the internet using a standard browser on a PC, Mac, or tablet. The most powerful feature of STIPPLE is the ease with which users can navigate from one part of the database to another. All users can browse through all data to which they have authorized access, navigating bidirectional connections in either direction at the same speed, and so find connections of which they were unaware. This video shows some of the ways in which information about prints can be retrieved and displayed. Most cataloging systems use a single standard schema for all object types. This one-size-fits-all solution is an uncomfortable match for most object types, and is particularly unsuitable for prints, as most systems treat each print impression as a totally separate object, even if they are printed from the same plate. This is necessary for collections management, but not suitable for the scholarly study of prints. In STIPPLE, each object type has its own separately defined schema. Paintings have painters, books have authors and book publishers, prints have engravers and print publishers. STIPPLE has special facilities for cataloging multiple objects, such as prints, coins, and medals. As print specialists will be very aware, engravers' plates are often changed for a variety of reasons, and these changes are known as states. Print titles were often changed. The study of states is a vital part of the study of print publishing history. Multiple impressions may exist of some states, whilst others are only known from reference books. Most institutions will only have one or two states. STIPPLE allows the creation of catalogues raisonné and union catalogues. STIPPLE puts all impressions and states of a print together. Users can access the record for a print, and then access their impressions of that print, and STIPPLE will display state information about each impression. Users can also access a print record and then its states. The STIPPLE will display for each state all impressions from all collections. STIPPLE also allows each impression to be handled as a separate object for collections management purposes. Prints require a very complex data structure for creating a scholarly catalogue. STIPPLE has unique facilities for cataloging prints. About 200 separate print attributes have been defined in STIPPLE. Not all attributes are appropriate for all prints. For instance, many prints were separately published, but for those that were book illustrations, we need to record the name of the book in which they were issued. Both separately published prints and book illustrations might be portrait prints. If so, we would want to record the name of the sitters. They might be topographical prints, in which case we would like to record the names of the place or buildings illustrated. For a great many prints, the majority of the available attributes will have no data, either because they do not apply, or because data has not yet been found during research. Institutions can enter as much or as little data as time permits. We don't want to clutter displays with the names of attributes which do not have data, as the screens will become unreadable. Print catalog records can be of infinitely variable length. This is not a problem for STIPPLE, as it was created using EROS and its connections database. STIPPLE uses the EROS Standard Operator Interface, SOI, to display and print data, and this was designed to handle variable amounts of data and images. When you log on to STIPPLE, STIPPLE displays the initial menu for STIPPLE. This lists the wide variety of types of data that can be stored and accessed in STIPPLE. Each institution can have its own initial menu. Selecting any of the items in the initial menu by double-clicking leads to the more detailed lists. You can return to this menu by clicking on Initial Menu at the top of the screen, or by typing full stop, or period, and pressing Enter. Double-click on the index of all STIPPLE catalogs, then double-click on the STIPPLE print catalog. STIPPLE shows you, above the main input box, that you are now in the STIPPLE print catalog. I wish to access the record for a very early print illustrating the letter M. Type the letter M and press Enter. STIPPLE lists 10 prints. The EROS Standard Operator Interface, SOI, tells you above the main input box where you are on the database, and below the input box lists the choices that you have, in other words, where you can go. SOI tells you that you are currently in the STIPPLE print catalog, and that records are identified by both name and by number. Double-click on the first print listed. STIPPLE displays details of a very early print, the letter M. This was engraved in about 1466 or 1467 by the engraver known as the Master E.S. It is part of a set of 23 letters of the alphabet, so STIPPLE displays the attribute published as part of a set or series, together with the name of the set. There were only 23 letters in the Latin alphabet. No accession numbers are shown, as the Rob Dixon collection does not have an impression of this very rare print. STIPPLE tells you to click on Enter for more if you want to learn more about this print, such as states or literature. However, I'd first like to show you other initial print displays. Click on Jump Back to return to the list of prints, which STIPPLE displays beginning with the print after the one you have just selected. Type FIGURAC* and press Enter. STIPPLE retrieves one print. Double-click on this. This 15th century self-portrait of the engraver Israel van Mackenam with his wife Ida is the earliest known signed self-portrait print, was engraved in about 1490. Unlike the print of the letter M, this is not part of a set, so the attribute published as part of a set or series is not displayed. However, it is a portrait print, so STIPPLE displays the attribute portrait of and the names of the sitters. STIPPLE does not have a problem handling multiple sitters. The brief note about Israel van Mackenam is not stored in the print record, but extracted from the STIPPLE Biographical Dictionary. Where the names of attributes are self-evident, such as for this print, title, method of engraving, engraver, and dimensions, STIPPLE does not display the attribute names, as this makes the screen easier to read. If you couldn't remember the name of the print, you could have gone to the STIPPLE Biographical Dictionary, accessed the records for Israel van Mackenam or his wife Ida, and found the print under images of them. Click on Jump Back. I now wish to access a topographical print of Borstal in Buckinghamshire in the UK. Type ILLUST* and press Enter. Double-click on the second print, Illustrissimo Domino. This is a view of Borstal in Buckinghamshire. The publication date is recorded, so STIPPLE displays the attribute published together with the date 1695. The print has a dedication, so STIPPLE displays the attribute dedicatee. This is a topographical print, so STIPPLE displays the attribute view of, with 3 connections to Borstal Village, Borstal House, and Borstal Tower. It was published as a bookplate, so STIPPLE also displays the attribute published as an illustration in, together with the date and name of the book. As the Robert Dixon collection has a copy of this print, STIPPLE also displays the attribute Our Impressions with the accession number of the impression. If you couldn't remember the title of the print, you could go to the STIPPLE locality index and type Borstal, then select Borstal Tower and navigate to the print. Alternatively, if you knew the accession number within the Rob Dixon collection, you can navigate to that and access the print by its accession number. If you double-click on any of the deeper blue links, you can navigate to the connected record. Double-click on Borstal Tower. STIPPLE has moved from the STIPPLE print catalogue to the STIPPLE building and structure catalogue and shows the initial display for Borstal Tower with a modern photograph of the tower, an image of the print, and a Google map of the tower's location, as well as information about the tower. The Google map works exactly as it would if you had access to it directly from the Google website. Although this video is mainly concerned with the STIPPLE print catalogue, as I said earlier, STIPPLE can catalog or record data about any type of thing. STIPPLE can handle ontology and taxonomy, and in hierarchies, children can belong to multiple parents. To return to the list of prints, click twice on Jump Back. I now wish to access a print of the Ladies' Waldegrave. Type Ladies space WAL asterisk and press Enter. STIPPLE lists 6 prints. Items 2 to 6 have the title The Ladies' Waldegrave, but the first has the letter S to its left, indicating that this is a synonym, as although this is the name by which the print that I wish to look at is popularly known, it is not its correct title. Double-click on this. This is the initial display for the Metztint known as the Ladies' Waldegrave, with its correct title, Lady Elizabeth Laura, Lady Charlotte Maria, and Lady Anne Horatia, daughters to James, late Earl of Waldegrave. This display is somewhat more complex than the initial displays that I showed earlier. The title taken from the print is displayed at the top, together with its STIPPLE print number. The method of engraving, Metztint, is displayed, followed by the name of the engraver, Valentine Green, and the original artist, Sir Joshua Reynolds, first president of the Royal Academy of Art in London. As the plate for this print was beveled at the edges during the 19th century, 2 sets of measurements are required, and this is not a problem for STIPPLE. It was also republished, so 2 publication dates and publishers' names are displayed. This time there are 3 sitters. There is also a text note about an impression of the print that made a world record price for any print in 1923. The STIPPLE print catalogue has many opportunities for storing text about different aspects of a print. They can be publicly available text or user text, only accessible to employees of the institution for whom the operator works. There are 3 impressions of this print in the Rob Dixon collection, 2 fine early proofs and 1 very late and worn impression. The plate is part of Valentine Green's wonderful set of 11 Metztints of beauties of the present age. These initial print screens may at first glance look as though they have come from a word processing package. In fact, the data displayed has been extracted from the STIPPLE print catalogue and from the STIPPLE biographical dictionary. As I showed earlier, any images and the blue links are all clickable, allowing operators to navigate instantly to the connected records. For the more technically minded, I should perhaps explain that, as STIPPLE was built using the patented Eros Connections database, rather than a relational database, no joins are necessary and no SQL is required for queries. In addition, no null values are stored for attributes that do not contain data. The definition of the layout of this web page is stored in the Eros database rather than in computer programs. In most computer systems, the layout of screens is very dependent on the layout of the underlying computer files. In STIPPLE, because it is being built using the patented technology of Eros with its connectionless database, the format of displays and printed reports is determined by the requirements of users, and is totally independent of file layouts. This initial print display has evolved as a result of many years' experience of cataloging and researching prints using STIPPLE. If further experience suggests that the layout can be improved, it can most certainly be changed without any program changes being necessary. I have deliberately not included state or bibliographic information on the initial print displays. These can quickly be retrieved, as I will demonstrate. This is a portrait of the 3 Waldegrave sisters. Elizabeth Laura, the eldest, in the center, Charlotte to the left, and Anne on the right. Their dates of birth and death, and a short biographical note are shown. These are not stored in the print record, but in the individual biographical records for each of the sitters. STIPPLE has the flexibility necessary for the very variable amounts of data and images. I wish to learn more about this print, so I click on Enter for more. It also displays a menu that lists categories of further information about the print of the Ladies' Waldegrave. STIPPLE allows you to access your impressions and find their states, or to access states and then find all recorded impressions for each state. I wish to look at impressions in the Rob Dixon collection only, so I double-click on Our Impressions. STIPPLE displays details of the 3 impressions in the Rob Dixon collection in the sequence of ascending accession number. As yet, images of these impressions have not been linked to the accession numbers. The information about the states has been retrieved from the print record, is only stored once, however many impressions are recorded of any state. Note that provenance is shown for the second and third impressions. The second impression also has the attribute references to the above impression. Not many individual print impressions have their own references, but STIPPLE can handle them when required. Click on Enter for more to return to the menu. To access states and then impressions, double-click on States and Images. Having displayed impressions and then their states, STIPPLE now displays states and then impressions. This may look as though each state is one complete separate record, but STIPPLE has extracted the data from a variety of records. The data about each state is exactly the same data as was displayed in the earlier screen. It is only stored once. The data in this screen has been put up by more than one operator over a period of time. STIPPLE has an audit trail that records who put up every single piece of data and when. I will demonstrate this later. This demonstrates the advantage of having a cataloging system to which many operators from many institutions can contribute. The knowledge taken as a whole is very much greater than the sum of the parts. STIPPLE lists 6 recorded states. The evidence is displayed for the existence of each state, either as a recorded impression and/or catalog references. I suspect that the first state was miscatalogued in 1902, and it is probably the same as the second state. I need to go to Windsor Castle to check, as a photograph of the impression did not reveal any differences. The text immediately after the state numbers are the descriptions of the states, and these are intended to make it easier to distinguish between the different states. The actual state inscription is shown below. The second state shows 2 impressions from the collection of the British Museum and 2 from the Rob Dixon collection, which also has an impression of the 6th state. This screen shows that STIPPLE can create union catalogs. Operators can only change details of prints belonging to the collection for whom they work. The screen is publicly available, so private data, such as location, is not displayed. For further information about this print, click on Enter for more. STIPPLE again displays the list of the categories of information available. Double-click on Source and other related images. STIPPLE displays an image of the source painting for the print, alongside an image of a proof impression of the print. Double-click on the image of the painting to see the same image at its maximum size. The Ladies' Waldegrave was first published on the 1st of December 1781. I wonder what other prints were published on that date. I could return to the list of prints by clicking twice on Jump Back. I can also access all data using the Fast Path. Click on Fast Path. STIPPLE displays the first items in the Fast Path. The letter S to the left of some items indicates that these are synonyms. For instance, if you double-clicked on Album, STIPPLE would take you to the STIPPLE Sketchbook, Album, and Scrapbook catalog. However, to return to the STIPPLE print catalog, type PRIN asterisk and press Enter. STIPPLE displays 10 records in the FastPath index. Double-click on the synonym Print Catalog STIPPLE. You could also have typed full stop or period P and pressed Enter to go directly to the print catalog. As is shown at the top of the screen, STIPPLE has taken me back to the STIPPLE print catalogue. You can access print records by print title or STIPPLE print number, but you can also access them by publication or republication date, if these have been recorded. Type the date 1/12/1781 in the 3 date boxes and press Enter. STIPPLE displays 3 prints published on that date. It happens that they are all Mezzotints by Valentine Green after Sir Joshua Reynolds. The first is the Lady's Waldegrave. I will take a further look to see what additional connection there might be between these 3 prints. Double-click on the first print. STIPPLE redisplays the initial screen for the Lady's Waldegrave. I notice that at the bottom of the data, STIPPLE tells me that the Lady's Waldegrave is part of a set of beauties of the present age, so I double-click on that. STIPPLE moves to the print set catalogue and displays the first 6 prints in the set. I have navigated here from the print record for the Lady's Waldegrave, but I could also have accessed this print set record by typing SET/BEAUT* and pressing Enter. The full stop or period instructs STIPPLE to look in the fast path for the term following the full stop, in this case SET, and then accesses the set whose name begins BEAUT*. But I don't need to do this now because STIPPLE has already accessed the set record. Because of the lack of space in the screen, STIPPLE does not display any biographical details of the sitters. In general, computer systems find handling sets of any sort very difficult. Sets or groups are a standard feature of any error-based application, such as STIPPLE. The prints are displayed in their sequence within the set. Click on Enter for more. STIPPLE displays the remaining prints in the set. The second, third, and fourth prints are the 3 published on the 1st of December 1781, and include the Lady's Waldegrave. The second print on this page, a portrait of Emily Mary, Countess of Salisbury, has the attribute printing plate. It is the only plate in the set known to have survived. Double-click on the name of the plate. You will see from the top of the screen the STIPPLE has moved from the STIPPLE print set catalogue to the STIPPLE printing plate catalogue, and is showing information about the plate of Lady Salisbury. To find out information about the plate maker Richard Jones, double-click on his name. STIPPLE has now moved to the STIPPLE Biographical Dictionary. It shows information about Richard Jones. Although I navigated to this record from the printing plate catalogue, I could have typed .b for biography and pressed Enter, and then Jones Richard and pressed Enter, and then selected Richard Jones Copper Plate Maker to get to the same place. Double-click on 48 Shoe Lane. STIPPLE has now moved to the STIPPLE address list. It displays an image of the interior of numbers 46, 47, and 48 Shoe Lane, together with a list of the known occupants in date sequence. Double-click on William Pontifex, Russell Pontifex and Company. STIPPLE moves again to the STIPPLE Biographical Dictionary and displays information about William Pontifex, Russell Pontifex and Company. They occupied 3 adjacent buildings in Shoe Lane. Double-click on Copper Plate Maker. Just one plate manufactured by William Pontifex, Russell Pontifex and Company is known. Double-click on this. STIPPLE has moved back to the printing plate catalogue and displays details of the plate. Double-click on the name of the print, which is number 37093 in the STIPPLE print catalogue. STIPPLE moves back to the print catalogue and displays details of this print and its pair, which is after Sir Thomas Lawrence rather than Reynolds. Double-click on Enter for more, and then select Our Impression. STIPPLE displays details of the 2 impressions in the Rob Dixon collection. You can access print records through reference works. Type *book and press Enter. Double-click on Book Catalog. STIPPLE takes you to the STIPPLE Book Catalog. Researchers often remember the names of the authors of reference books rather than their title. STIPPLE allows the use of synonyms. Type Whitman and double-click on Whitman, Valentine Green. STIPPLE accesses the record for the book Valentine Green by Alfred Whitman, published by A. H. Bullen in 1902. and shows that there were 2 copies in the Rob Dixon Reynolds reference library. Press Enter, and Stipple displays the first few references recorded so far in the book in Whitman's catalogue number sequence. When all Green's prints have been catalogued and Whitman's references recorded, there should be no missing numbers from Whitman's catalogue. Double-click on His Grace the Duke of Bedford. Stipple shows the initial display for this mezzotint by Valentine Green after Reynolds, showing that there were 2 copies in the Rob Dixon collection. To find out about these 2 impressions, click on Enter for more, and then double-click on Our Impressions. You will also find this print through other reference books, or by looking up Dragon in the Stipple Subject Index, or by looking up, for instance, Caroline Vernon in the Stipple Biographical Dictionary, and accessing images of her. You will also go to the Rob Dixon print collection and access the 2 impressions by accession number. Click on Enter for more, and then double-click on Literature. Stipple lists the reference works recorded so far for this print. They are displayed in date sequence, showing the history of scholarship. Click once on a history of the works of Sir Joshua Reynolds, and then click on Audit at the top of the screen. Stipple shows that this reference was put up on the 4th of July 2008. The operator was at that time an employee of Christopher Langstroyd, a leading mezzotint scholar. Sadly, he died in 2012. All the other references were put up by Rob Dixon or an employee of his. This is one of the considerable benefits of using a shared system. If museums only put up their own impressions in their own standalone system, these will not be visible in the context of the recorded history of the plate and all its dates and other information. Stipple includes a catalogue raisonné of the engraved works after Sir Joshua Reynolds. This contains all known prints after Reynolds up to 1900, with about 2,600 separate plates, all recorded states, and all bibliographic references from all main reference sources. I have found some previously unrecorded prints, and quite a few previously unrecorded states, and I have managed to purchase 7 copper plates after Reynolds. This research has taught me a lot about Reynolds' close involvement with the print trade. It has led me to conclude that he was the person directly responsible for the extraordinary high standard of mezzotint engraving in the second half of the 18th century. I might not have learnt this if I had only catalogued prints from my own collection, and did not have the context for the states that I do not own. In addition, I would not have learned that the number of impressions taken from many of the plates was very much higher than had previously been thought. I am writing a book about prints after Reynolds. This is about 120,000 words at present, all stored in Stipple. The RL Standard Operator Interface can typeset this and produce finished text. I hope that anyone working for or owning a collection of prints after Reynolds will get in touch with me. My aim is to have a union catalogue of as many print impressions after Reynolds as possible. There are many benefits from shared systems. All your print impressions are stored and displayed in the context of all knowledge of each print, much of which may have been put up by staff from other institutions. A standalone system cannot show scholarship unless the data is duplicated many times at great expense. It takes little time to record an extra impression of a print already catalogued in Stipple, particularly if the state has already been recorded. Stipple handles multiple versions of personal names and other things. Controlled authorization lists ensure that one version only of each is used as a standard. 15 different names are recorded in Stipple for the painter and printmaker, Angelica Kaufmann. If I go to the Stipple Biographical Dictionary and type Zucchi Angelica, Stipple retrieves 2 records. These are synonyms. Whichever of these I select, Stipple will always use the standard Stipple name, Maria Angelica Kaufmann, with 2 F's and 1 N. The RL Standard Operator Interface, SOI, is quite separate from the data, which is accessed and updated by the EROS database handler. Stipple can provide the website for your collections. SOI allows each institution to have its own banner, logo, and its own views of the data. SOI allows you to choose your own colors. I will change the colors now. Because SOI generates HTML and JavaScript on the fly, the changes happen immediately. There are considerable economies of scale in using a shared central system for data entry, as much of the data, such as the main print details, bibliographic, and biographical data, only needs to be put up once. There are considerable economies of scale in using a shared central system for software development and system operation. Developing Eros and STIPPLE cost a great deal of money. Not every institution would have a large enough budget to create their own system. Rather than reinventing the wheel, money would be better spent on improving the cataloging standards of your collections. To create a system with the facilities of STIPPLE has only been possible because it uses the Eros connectionist database and the Eros standard operator interface. It would be, at best, very difficult to create a comparable system using a relational database. I doubt that it would be possible. This video shows how easy it is to browse through the data in STIPPLE and to navigate the connections in the database, moving from one type of data to another with instant responses, without any limit, without any SQL. It is not possible using a search engine to find data and navigate connections in this way on the Internet. Thank you for viewing this video. Please get in touch if you would like to learn more, or if you would like to try STIPPLE in the cloud.